At the family reunion I paid for, they gave everyone a custom t-shirt. Mine said, "Biggest disappointment." I didn't argue. I just smiled. Took out a stack of papers, tore them in half, and left. They finally read what I destroyed, Pret 2. My mom told me to save my money, then posted a status about how Laura surprised them with a family-funded holiday. That was when I decided no more behind the scenes. The reunion I just left, that was supposed to be my reveal, a real one. I had it all lined up: a notarized letter gifting my parents early retirement, their mortgage wiped clean, a down payment agreement for Laura and her kids, a new start in a better school district, a debt relief fund for Ben, plus an optional job referral if he ever wanted to start fresh. Each document was signed, sealed, printed on heavy linen paper. I even picked navy blue folders to match the table decor. That's how far I went. I wanted it to be beautiful, memorable. I imagined the look on my mother's face when she read the letter. The tears, the pride, the slow realization that the son she once called directionless had built something big enough to give them a second chance. I pictured my father standing up in silence, gripping my hand firmly. I imagined Laura saying, "I misjudged you." And Ben going, "Dan, bro, I had no clue." I envisioned so many different versions of that moment. What I got instead was a joke printed on a t-shirt. And I know what you might be thinking. Maybe it wasn't intentional. Maybe it was just a poorly timed joke. Maybe their reactions would have been different if I had told them beforehand. But here's the truth: on some level they already knew. They saw the car I drove. They noticed my clothes. They clocked the way people responded when I casually mentioned my company's name. Once, my mom even asked if I was doing okay financially. But in that cautious, practiced way people use when they're fishing for confirmation, but don't want to come off as impressed. They didn't care. Or maybe they did care, and they hated what it revealed about them. So they laughed. Because keeping me in the disappointment box was easier than accepting they might have been wrong. And now they were going to find out exactly what was inside those papers. Not just them. Everyone. Everyone who ever heard them whisper about poor Frank. Everyone who believed I was some failure, bouncing from one sad project to another. They were about to learn the truth. But things had to get worse first. Because I hadn't even seen the messages yet. The ones they were already firing off, the lies taking shape, the narrative they were crafting before I had a chance to say a word. That came next. I hadn't even reached the city before the rumors started to fly. The first call came from a friend I hadn't heard from in months. "Hey man, your sister posted something kinda weird. Said you had a breakdown at the reunion. You okay?" Breakdown. That was the word she used. I opened Facebook. And there it was, a picture of the dinner table from earlier. T-shirts spread out, wine glasses still half full, a cake in the middle. The caption read, "Some people just can't handle being part of a family. We still love you, even when you self-sabotage." No names, no specifics, but the implication was crystal clear. The comments were flooded with vague sympathy and passive-aggressive takes. So sorry girl, you deserve peace. Some people are just toxic. Family can be messy. Sending hugs. That alone would have been bad enough. But then came the pings. Group chat messages, screenshots, forwarded texts from cousins. My aunt reached out, asked if I was okay, said my mother had called her sobbing, claiming I had thrown a fit and shredded legal documents in the middle of a manic breakdown. Ben sent me a message directly. "Dude, you really need help. You embarrassed all of us. We tried to include you, and you made it a scene. Real classy. Include me. Right?" I didn't reply. I just forwarded the original documents to my attorney, asked him to timestamp the email, and copied my assistant. 5 minutes later she responded. "Would you like me to push the Forbes feature to this weekend? I can reattach the scanned pages." Yes, that. Because here's the thing, I had options. I had proof. I had receipts. They only had a story. A flimsy one at that. But the louder they repeated it, the more damage it could cause. If my family is skilled at one thing, it's rewriting history. Fast. But not this time. This time I wasn't going to let them get away with it. I had let them shape my narrative for too long. Now it was my turn. I started by sharing the Forbes link quietly. No tag, no commentary. Just the article. The underdog founder who secretly funded his family's life for a decade. And then cut ties. Inside, photos of the documents, scanned, signed, dated. The same ones I'd torn up at the reunion. The article mentioned the company valuation north of 30 million. And the anonymous donations traced back to me. It mentioned the mortgage payments, the college funds I'd quietly created under shell accounts. It mentioned the tech mentorship grant I launched 6 months ago for people who'd been written off by their own families. And it mentioned briefly, but clearly, why I walked away. Not with bitterness, with clarity. Within hours, my inbox exploded. First were the congratulations, then the apologies, then the panic. A voicemail from Laura. "Why would you make that public? You're humiliating us." A text from Ben. "Wow. Real mature. Hope you feel good about ruining the family name." Then my mom. "We need to talk. You misunderstood the joke. We were just having fun. We were just having joke." It was almost funny the way they were doubling down, but it wasn't over. Not yet, because the story was gaining traction. In the spotlight I never wanted. It was about to get a lot brighter. A YouTube channel picked it up, then a podcast, then a short documentary. Comments flooded in. People chose sides, but mostly they chose me. Because people recognize humiliation when they see it. Especially when it wears a smile and calls itself family. Ben tried to clap back online, posted a rant about me being unstable, said I was twisting facts.